Alright, so now, yeah, just for fun, go to download like a soccer ball texture off Google.
Oh yeah, so. Oh, can you do basketball?
Sure, if you want. I'm just gonna do a soccer ball. Because it's a goalie and stuff. But you can do a basketball, sure.
But it doesn't really have the. It doesn't have.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, it would. I think it has a watermark. I'm not sure. So once you have your soccer ball or basketball texture, just pull it in Unity.
Create a ball.
Yep, create a sphere. And then just put the texture on it. Mine's a little not tiled enough, so I'm just gonna do it like 2x1, something like that. Not really the best sphere for a soccer ball, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, so got your basketball. All right, so you're gonna add a rigid body to the ball. It already has a sphere collider, so that's all good. And the other thing now that we want to do, right? So maybe say, remember how we wrote in our script over here? We checked if other game object name is cube, only then do the thing. So what if, it's not by name, for example, maybe there's multiple classes of objects that should do that, right?
Yeah.
So Unity has this built-in thing called tags. So you can tag any object as a specific tag. So we can actually create a tag. So how to do that? So let's select our sphere, and then up here in the top you'll see tag, right? It's untagged. So let's add a tag and call it, something like I don't know, ball, whatever.
Just add?
Yeah, so just add a little plus and call it ball. Then now you created the tag, and now click the sphere again, and then where it says untagged, just find the tag that you made, ball. Now back in our script, instead of checking the gameObject.name, we're going to check the gameObject.tag. Tag. And it's the same thing, it's a string, but this here, it was going to be ball. Yep. Now, if you select also the cube, you can do the same thing and also tag it as a ball, theoretically. So, same thing, now this sphere, if I take it, push it into my goalie, what happens? Try it. Mine happened all the way over here because...
Oh shit.
Yeah, because we moved our character, but we didn't move the ragdoll, remember?
Oh.
So take the ragdoll, again, pull it into the character, and just zero it out.
Position 0.
Yeah, once it's in it, and then pull it out.
I think it's there.
It has to be in the character. So you have to pull it in the character. No, it's not in the character. It's I can see the arrow where it is. Pull it in the exo red. Pull it in it. Pull it in it. In it. Yeah. And now make it 0, 0.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And now pull it out.
Okay.
Hope you didn't resize the character.
Oh, I resized it. Okay.
So if you did,
So the
You can-
ragdoll will be
so if you want to make it the same size, you can do the same thing. You can pull it in again, and then make the size all one there. And I'll pull it out. The same place. Yep. And now if you press play, take the ball.
Wait,
pull
it
it
fell
in.
again.
What happened?
It fell through.
Maybe you didn't change the scale then. Just if you don't know, just enable it again. Just enable the ragdoll so you can see what's going on. Seems to be fine. No, it's disable it. No, not that one.
Okay.
Just disable it.
Yeah.
Just try it again. Oh, well, your exo red is a trigger.
Oh.
That's why it's falling through the floor. Because
Why did we make it a trigger?
I think I was explaining trigger earlier, and I think
Okay.
you just left it like that. So just press play and just try it. So if you take the ball and just, you might want to like, oh,
Wait, no. It's not doing it.
let me see.
It's right.
Let me see something. Rigid body. There's, I don't know. Saying let me love you for you. Oh, because, no, it's still. Oh, because, no. Weird. Ball, tag, ball. Oh, you didn't save the script. You didn't save the script when you changed the tag thing. Yeah, one way to check is there's that little like icon right next to the file name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's for when he hits the goalie, and that's cool. You know, he's gonna turn into a ragdoll, which is kind of a funny reaction. I have, instead of a dance animation, I have like an animation usually that just makes him look like ready. You know, you find that'll makes him all like a ready animation,
Yeah.
and he just looks like he's waiting
Yeah.
for it. You know. But now what I want to show you is the concept of triggers, right? So trigger is an area. It doesn't collide. It just checks like if something triggered it, if
Yeah.
something entered it, right? So triggers can be used in so many different ways. Specifically, one of my favorite ways to use it is like kind of like an area. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to make another cube that's going to be like our trigger. And what we're going to do is we're going to scale it like to fit the goal, kind of like behind the goal, kind of like the net per se.
Oh.
You can think of this as the net. And when you have it placed where you want it, we're just going to disable the renderer because we don't want to show it. We just want to use this as a reference first. So you might want to, kind of work your camera a little bit so you can make sure that you're putting it in the right place. So you look at it from the side. Yeah, so push it like back a little. Yep. And then mesh render, disable it.
Why?
And now you're just using the shape,
Yeah.
right? We don't need to show it. So the other thing too is click that trigger that you just created. Maybe rename it. It's a cube 4, I think, or something. And it's cube 5. Yeah. Rename it to net or something like that, just so you know. And then make that box collider a trigger of the net. Is trigger. Boom. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to just go on free sound real quick. And we want to pick a sound effect for whatever, when it hits the net.
Yeah.
Freesound.org. And just, this is up to you. So, I'm just gonna search goal, and then there's like,
Yes! It's a goal!
it's terrible.
Go!
Yes, that's something like that. Yeah, so it's cheer or whatever. So if you got it, download it.
How do you
That
download?
was perfect. So you click it, and you just have to have an account. I believe we made some last time. If you don't have one, it's alright. I could just give you the file. It's just good to have an account there.
Oh,
Yeah, so when you have it, just pull it in Unity.
okay.
Yeah. So now on our net, right? It's a perfect place to play the sound from. We're going to add a component, and it's going to be a type of audio source. So audio source is basically where the sound comes from. And you can see it gets a little icon for a sound symbol.
Yeah.
And the audio clip is none right now. We're going to put the, yeah. So remember we did the same thing with the source for the music. It was the same thing, except instead of a sound effect, it was literally a song that just
Yeah.
played through.
Yeah.
You're gonna uncheck play on awake, because if you had play on awake, it would just play it right away.
Yeah.
I just did. So uncheck play on awake, and now what we want to do is basically we want to tell this audio source component play the sound, but we first need to access it
Yeah.
somehow. So you can do it two ways. You could do it, on the ball somehow, but in this instance, since our net is the trigger,
Yeah.
the easiest way to do it is to write a little script for the net.
Mm.
So we're just going to create another C# script, and we're going to call a script on trigger play sound. A very reusable script. So when we're done writing the script, in theory, you'd be able to, anytime you have a little trigger and it has a sound effect, it'll
Yeah.
work the same. You just drag the script on.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create another void, and this time we're not doing on collision enter, we're doing void on trigger enter, capital T, trigger enter. Yep. And then in here, instead of collision, we're going to do collider, other object. Collider. collider, two L's. DER, yeah. And then other object. So yeah, that's just how it is. On collision enter expects a collision type. On trigger enter expects a collider type. They're slightly different. On collision enter, since it uses collision, there are specific collision things like the direction of the collision and the strength of it, and a few other more physicsy things. Whereas collider is literally the box collider. That's the collider type. So it doesn't have as much like impact data and stuff, but it just gives you just enough to know what the other object is, basically. So it's perfect for the trigger, basically. It triggers, and then you know which object triggered it. So we're gonna do the same if statement we did before. If other object dot game object. So you don't even need to do dot game object now. You can even do other object dot tag right away, because it's just the collider. But just for redundancy, tag and then ball. So the double equals. So it has to be dot tag is then equal to. So if equal to, and then do the quotes. Yep. And then what we're going to do is an even simpler version than what I wrote earlier. I'm just going to write game object like this, like lowercase game object. You just didn't type it the same. You typed it up there. Just make sure, just copy and paste it. You forgot to put up parentheses to start the if statement. Yep. So just game object to reference the game object we're currently attached to, this on trigger play sound. Game object dot and then capital G, get component. Now this is the only one that's a little bit, so just get component, not components, yeah. So if you just type more of it out, and then it'll get more specific. See how it has this little like, I guess what it's called, arrow parentheses or whatever they're called. So this is the only one that requires this for the most part in Unity. You'll probably never need to use it, and it's just for get component. In between those goes the name of the component, and it's not in quotes because it's literally, and I think it would work in quotes, but you're literally using the name of the type, and that is capital. So start typing audio source. So it's usually should be literally the same as what it is in the Unity editor right there. If the component is called rigid body, then you type it in there like that. You know what I mean? And that's the component that you will get.
Or like what you just wrote.
Yeah. Then once you have that written, after that you just do, so just open parentheses, close parentheses, and then dot, and now you're in that component. So now you're working with that component. And then here you can type play, and then it'll show you the play function. You see that? And then once open parentheses, close parentheses, and that's it. And then semicolon, and then save. Yeah. So now let's try that.
Where do you drag this to?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. So take the net, the on trigger play sound, and put it on the net. So just, you could drag it on there. You could drag it, just,
Let's drag it.
Yeah, that should work. And I'll press play. So just try that. And every time you go through, it'll play it again. Pretty simple, right? So yeah, that's like kind of, the difference between a collider and a trigger a little bit.
How can you hide the speaker thing?
So right here, the gizmos, you see this? There should be a little thing called gizmos.
Yeah.
And you can 3D icons, you can scale that really down, like just make it really small. And you practically won't see it anymore. If you want to just disable like the audio and nothing else, just that icon, it's in here somewhere.
Oh, okay. So you can just disable it.
Yep. Well, we did a little bit of the ragdoll physics and triggers and colliders. Now I want to just show you just a few more advanced like physics concepts besides just the ragdoll. So this doesn't really make sense for soccer, I guess. But say you wanted to attach like kind of like if you wanted to attach this ball to this cube in like kind of like a rope almost, just kind of to drag it along. The way that you do that is you just click on the cube and add component, and then I think it's called a hinge, it's a spring joint. You can find all of those if you just hear in component physics. You'll have like hinge joint, spring joint, character joint. So hinge joint is like
the joint is like just
hinge joint is like more like for a door, I would say.
Okay.
Fixed joint is like literally tries to keep it equidistant and stuff. Spring joint is kind of like almost like a rubber band.
Yeah.
So if you just do spring joint, and then it's gonna ask you, connected body right there. Just pull the sphere to the connected body. No, I mean, just pull the sphere in there. Yeah. So now if you press play and you drag the cube around, the sphere will be pulled with it. Like, kind of like a spring.
What's this?
I'm not sure. I think you have something else attached to it or something.
What is this?
I'm not sure. Why don't you zoom in? Find out. I think it's just showing you the spring joint in action. Yeah, mine has the same thing. See?
Okay.
It just changes size depending on how far you're going. So then you can in there you can tweak things like the amount of spring, the dampening, the minimum distance, the maximum distance, and then it's just another like little physics thing. But just so you know, that's technically how the ragdoll stuff works too.
Okay.
If you look, each one has a character joint, and then it's the left leg is connected to the hip, and then you go down the level, and then the lower level is connected to a higher level, and it does it all automatically, the sizes and all that. But basically, it says like that it has an anchor, so it's like it's connected to like the shoulder or something, and then that's where it kind of would start swinging and stuff. So yeah, we could take a little quick break.
What if can you